It's that time of the year. Your vacation is coming up. You can already hear the beach waves, feel the warm breeze, relax, and think about work. You really, really want it all to work out while you're away. Monday.com gives you and the team that peace of mind. When all work is on one platform and everyone's in sync, things just flow. Wherever you are, tap the banner to go to Monday.com.
On today's Smart 7, Labour claims seismic victory in Blackpool, 2,000 arrested in US college protests, and much more. It's Friday, 3rd of May, it's World Asthma Day, and happy birthday, Rachel Zegler.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Thursday marked local elections across the UK, with 2,600 council seats up for grabs, along with metro mayorships and one by-election in Blackpool South. The seat vacated by disgraced Tory MP Scott Benton went to Labour, another significant blow for Rishi Sunak, and the Tory candidate finished only about 100 votes ahead of the Reform Party candidate, which could have been a major embarrassment for the PM. New Labour MP Chris Webb wasn't pulling any punches either.
The message to the Prime Minister is that we need a general election, sooner the better. People no longer trust the Conservatives. Prime Minister, do the decent thing. Admit you've failed and call a general election.
Labour leader Keir Starmer called the 26% swing to Labour seismic. Former PM Boris Johnson managed to make headlines too by forgetting his voter ID, even though he introduced the new legislation. Across the country, Labour made significant gains, as did the Greens, and with counting due to continue across the weekend, it'll take some time for a clear picture to emerge. Professor John Curtis says there's no good news for Rishi in the early results.
The key message from these local ballot boxes is that Mr Sunak's project, indeed probably his principal purpose, which was to reverse the damage that he inherited, a party that was 25% behind in the polls, that project has not made much progress.
A UN agency issued a report on Thursday that estimates 72% of all residential buildings in Gaza have been destroyed, and that any reconstruction project will require international assistance and a scale of support not seen since the end of World War II. It comes as Israel continues to prepare for an assault on Rafah, and protests have escalated across the world in support of the Palestinian refugees. College campuses across the US have erupted into violence as pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian groups clash, and riot police have had to intervene, arresting over 2,000 people. US President Joe Biden spoke out on the protest on Thursday, saying that there's a right to free speech and peaceful protest, but the law must be upheld.
Dissent is essential to democracy, but dissent must never lead to disorder or to denying the rights of others so students can finish the semester and their college education.
Professor James Gelvin teaches Middle East history at UCLA, and he says that it's disappointing that there's been so much violence on campus.
It's a shame that the administration chose, after only 1 week, to bring in the police, and not to bring in police when the protesters were being beaten up by people from outside the university the day before.
A week that started with drama in Scottish politics has ended with a polite fizzle. After First Minister Humza Yousaf stepped down on Monday to avoid a defeat on a motion of no confidence, it appeared that the SNP was set for a full-on leadership contest. But Kate Forbes, who was a former leadership candidate last year, has decided not to put her name forward on this occasion. That leaves the way clear for John Swinney, who was Deputy First Minister under Nicola Sturgeon and is a man once described as boring by Sean Connery. The contest won't formally close until Monday, but no other candidates are expected to come forward. Swinney was grateful for Kate Forbes' withdrawal and says she will have a significant part in a unified cabinet.
I've seen Kate's statement. It is graceful, welcome and thoughtful. I'm delighted to receive her endorsement and her support, and I think it is very encouraging about how we take the SNP forward.
The refugee crisis has been in the headlines all week. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has been eager to claim success for his Rwanda scheme as the first volunteer deportee headed off to Africa with £3,000 and the Home Office began detaining other failed asylum seekers. But it's not just the UK that's under pressure. Ireland has been struggling to cope with an uptick in asylum claims, and Wednesday this week saw more than 700 people cross the English Channel in small boats. The European Union is working to slow the tide of those fleeing through the Mediterranean, and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced a new €1 billion support package for Lebanon on Thursday.
To help you in managing migration, we are committed to maintain legal pathways open to Europe. At the same time, we count on your good cooperation to prevent illegal migration and to combat migrant smuggling.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, bad news for Villa in Europe, and we find out why Rebel Wilson has 2 houses. Right after this.
When you're ready to pop the question, the last thing you want to do is second-guess the ring. At BlueNile.com, you can design a one-of-a-kind ring with the ease and convenience of shopping online. Choose your diamond and setting. When you find the one, you'll get it delivered right to your door. Go to BlueNile.com and use promo code LISTEN to get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more. That's code LISTEN at BlueNile.com for $50 off your purchase. BlueNile.com, code LISTEN.
Welcome back.
Thursday night saw England's last team in action in Europe as Aston Villa kicked off their Europa Conference League semi-final against Greek side Olympiacos. Things didn't go well for Unai Emery's side, who despite home advantage lost 4-2 and now have a mountain to climb next week in Greece. In the Premier League, Mauricio Pochettino's new club Chelsea faced off against his old club Spurs. He wasn't too sentimental about it though, as Chelsea won 2-0. That probably puts Spurs out of the running for a Champions League spot, and it sees Chelsea up to 8th in the table. Pochettino sounded pleased with his team.
I think this is my first time, I think that in the season, that I really feel so happy after 10 months that the team really start to realize how we need to compete. And I think today we compete really well.
Rebel Wilson is out and about promoting her new autobiography called Rebel Rising. It's already caused plenty of controversy when she made allegations about a former co-star. In fact, that story is so controversial that portions of the book had to be redacted when it was published in the UK. So if you're wondering why your copy has big black lines on it, it's not a prank. Rebel spoke to Chris Evans on Virgin Radio and told him about her 2 houses in LA, one to live in, another just as a kind of personal museum.
Yeah, I have weird stuff, like I have my hat from Night at the Museum 3, I have like wigs that I've worn or things on display. I just like keeping things, the movie slates from the camera department.
It's your dream, man.
Kate Winslet's latest movie has been 9 years in the making. It started in 2015 when cinematographer Ellen Kouros was in a bookshop and picked up a book about female war photographer Lee Miller. Lee worked for Vogue reporting on the Second World War, and Ellen noticed that she looked like Kate Winslet and made contact with the star, who went on to produce the project. That led to a years-long production battle to get the movie made, including a period where Kate paid the crew herself to keep things on track. The final result is a dramatic real-life story just called Lee, which hit cinemas on September 13th.
I'm heading to the front. Ready to go?
We don't send women to combat.
Well, that's a problem, because I'm here. Even when I wanted to look away, I knew I couldn't.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day.
Give us 7 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
If there's one thing that my family and friends know me for, it's being an amazing gift giver. I owe it all to Celebrations Passport from 1-800-Flowers.com, my one-stop shopping site that has amazing gifts for every occasion. With Celebrations Passport, I get free shipping on thousands of amazing gifts. And the more gifts I give, the more perks and rewards I earn. To learn more and take your gift giving to the next level, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.